What is up, subscribers? Sunjetsu here, and today I wanted to go ahead and make this video talking about why the developers decided to choose Beastmen as the third DLC faction. Well, the second DLC faction, but the third DLC. And I have to give props to a forum, Why Choose Beastmen, on Total War forums, made by Row Your Boat. And I'm gonna go ahead and give him props for creating this. I go through the threads every once in a while, and I'm gonna go ahead and put a link in the description below to his thread talking about his thoughts on this issue, but I'm gonna go ahead and give you mine. Now, this harkens back to the leak that we have, and I always go back to it because it seems to be accurate at this point, and it's just fun to speculate, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. But the first faction, the DLC one, was the Chaos Warriors DLC. Then we have the Blood and Gore DLC, or the Blood DLC, for number 2. Right now we have the Beastmen as number 3. Number 4 more than likely is going to be a free LC of some kind, or a DLC, maybe a cheap one. Hopefully not though, hopefully a free LC, and it's going to be more than likely Bretonia, I'm assuming, because everything seems to be kind of focused in that direction for these next couple of DLCs. The one that has been kind of leaked but not 100% really, just again speculation, is DLC 5, which is Wood Elves, which I've already commented on before. And after that, it seems like we are gonna, it seems like there's a skip and there's a gap between 5 and 8, which is DLC 6 and 7, which could possibly be Kislev and Talea or Stalia, one of those. And then I'm not going to go further into that because then we have more speculation on other factions like Skaven and Tomb Kings, and I want to make videos for them themselves later on what their trailers might be or what units they might have. But first, let's go ahead and focus on why they chose Beastmen at DLC 3. Now, the DLC process, I'm assuming, takes a while to make certain factions, and Creative Assembly did state early on that they were, when they revealed their plan on the DLC plan that was, I think, a couple months ago, they stated that they weren't going to come out with a faction DLC up until like the very end of that cycle, and right now it's the very beginning of that cycle. We seem to be getting them. We haven't really even gotten, I believe they stated that we're going to get a Legendary Lord for the Greenskins, a new one, and we haven't got that one yet. So I'm wondering why they chose Beastmen for DLC 3, and I'm going to go ahead and give you my thoughts on it now. It would make more sense to bring Bretonia, seeing as how it's already in the custom battles. We just don't have it in the main campaign as of yet, but since all these kind of focus around there, it seems like that would be the easiest one. I mean, they're human, we already have a lot of their units, it can come out really quickly, as opposed to the Beastmen, who take a lot more time. They even have their own mini campaign. If all these have their own mini campaigns, which I think it's a step in the right direction when it comes to DLC, but if all these have their own mini campaign, it takes a lot of work for that DLC to be made. So it is a wonder why Beastmen was made next, right after the Blood and Gore DLC, and right before that was the Chaos Warriors. Now the Chaos Warriors and the Beastmen do have one thing in common, and so building on something like that won't change the campaign map too much or add an extra area to the campaign map would be the fact that both the Beastmen and the Chaos Warriors are Horde factions. They are factions that do not need to settle. They don't have their own, they don't need their own areas of the map as of yet. You know, they have that kind of closeness to each other. And when it comes to why Bretonia isn't a faction that was brought next, here's two theories. Number one, it's a free LC, so why would you want to go ahead and have that one come next or work on it even more, because since it's going to be free anyway, and you know people are going to buy a Beastman style DLC. That being said, this leak, I'm going to go off the leak again, states DLCs. Now, it doesn't state that the DLCs that are missing off this list are going to be DLC or free DLC, but if we go to the Blood and Gore DLC, which was DLC which is number 2, and then now we have Beastmen, which is number 3. It seems like these are going to be DLC, so I hope that they don't do this, but hopefully I'll make a video on more of my thoughts on this later. But hopefully Bretonia is not a DLC, not even for $5, honestly, not even for $3. Hopefully, unless they get their own mini campaign, I can see this happening as a DLC. But I'm just hoping that this is not the case, because of the fact that, for one thing, I feel like I have to look back again, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure that the Beastmen, for the Beastmen campaign, mini campaign, Bretonia is a faction on there, so it'd be really easy just to kind of if they are, copy and paste it kind of and make it into a Bretonian DLC. So I don't think that they should even cost anything more, even if it has a campaign on it. But if it does not have a campaign on it, I don't think it should cost anything at all, seeing as how the faction is already in custom battles, and it's got units already. It's got legendary lore. It just needs more fluff, more units, and its own tech tree and its own government and stuff. That's all it really needs. So it should be free DLC, but I'm thinking that it's going to be DLC, and I think it's going to be DLC 4 when it comes out, and hopefully it comes out with its own mini campaign, very interesting, new features, all that. And hopefully it's not $20 like the Beastmen DLC. Hopefully it's $5 at most with a mini campaign. But with no mini campaign, it should be nothing. But I'll get more into that in a different video. I want to focus on why they chose the Beastmen, and that's kind of all sums up the reasons why I think they chose the Beastmen, because they're trying to put factions on the map that are the fastest to make. It seems like that they can make a buck off. They did also state that they got more money, and that Total War Warhammer was more successful than they had originally stated. So that could be the reason that they put more development into making the Beastmen, which, if everything goes faster, hopefully, I mean, I'm one of the ones that are in the new historical Total War camp that they have already announced that they're going to have a game. They're already making a game right now that's historical Total War. I'm hoping that gets brought faster, seeing as how they got more money from the Total War Warhammer launch. But those are the reasons I think that they chose the Beastmen. They're choosing this kind of part of the world, the Wood Elves, Beastmen, the Bretonians. They don't have to add an extra part of the map. They don't have to really give them their own kingdoms or anything like that. The Bretonians more than likely will be free DLC or a very, very cheap DLC, while the Beastmen themselves are way more expensive, probably the most expensive DLC that they've ever come up with, in my opinion. I think, I'm not exactly sure if Caesar and Gaul was around $20, but I'm pretty sure that this is the most expensive DLC they've ever made. So I just thought of another reason. I think that maybe, just maybe, it's because if they want to come out with Bretonia, they want to have all the factions around Bretonia. Now, what would be the fourth DLC then? Because you need the Wood Elves, which are, I mean, they have a whole empty space on the map. They need for Bretonia to be a faction that has fluffed out neighbors, I guess, the Beastmen, the Wood Elves. Then you would have to make the Bretonians DLC number 6 or 7. So it would be DLC number 4. Well, it could be a huge pack that has more legendary lords, magic, lores, different lores, things like that. Just a whole hodgepodge of different types of things, like units and stuff like that would fluff out other factions and stuff, giving us new legendary lords, or maybe one each for each new faction, something like that. I mean, they didn't state whether these are just only faction releases or anything like that for these DLCs, so it can be really anything. But those are my thoughts on why the Beastmen are next, why they chose the Beastmen. I was excited for them. I like the Beastmen. I mainly like the Beastmen to fight them. I like having them as an enemy. They're very interesting. They look cool. They have cool backstories. I like fighting them in Call of Warhammer. As playing them, I'm not very much into horde play at all. The Chaos Warriors is probably the most fun horde play that I've ever had in a Total War game. Yeah, even going with the Huns and stuff like that from the other Total War games. I think that the Beastmen might be more fun than the Chaos Warriors, in my opinion. The Chaos Warriors, it gets kind of dry for me toward like the beginning, just because of the area they're in. I don't know, it's just me. I guess I don't know really how to play horde factions that well. But anyway guys, those are my thoughts. Why do you think they chose the Beastmen as the next DLC? Let me know in the comment section below. Let's see if we can get over 50 likes for the Beastmen coming out, I think next week sometime. I did get a funny comment on my last video. People asked me if my what's wrong with why do I sound like, you know, so weird and stuff and so slow. It's because I'm tired. I just got off of work, so there you go, a little bit about me. But I'll try to, you know, liven it up in other videos. And anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, become a subscriber today. This is going to be Sunjetsu signing off. What is up, subscribers? Sunjetsu here, and today I wanted to go ahead and make this video talking about why the developers decided to choose Beastmen as the third DLC faction. Well, the second DLC faction, but the third DLC. And I have to give props to a forum, why choose Beastmen, on Total War forums, made by Row Your Boat. And I'm gonna go ahead and give them props for creating this. I go through the threads every once in a while, and I'm gonna go ahead and put a link in the description below to his thread talking about his thoughts on this issue. But I'm gonna go ahead and give you mine. Now, this harkens back to the leak that we have, and I always go back to it because it seems to be accurate at this point, and it's just fun to speculate, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. But it may be a cheap one, hopefully not though, hopefully a free LC, and it's going to be more than likely Bretonia, I'm assuming, because everything seems to be kind of focused in that direction for these next couple of DLCs. The one that has been kind of leaked but not 100% really, just again speculation, is DLC 5, which is Widow. The first faction, the DLC 1, was the Chaos Warriors DLC. Then we have the Blood and Gore DLC, or the Blood DLC, for number 2. Right now we have the Beastmen as number 3. Number 4 more than likely is going to be a free LC of some kind, or a DLC